everybody. Welcome back to What the Film. This is the first ever time that Ethan and I are kind of joined by a guest, so welcome, Brendan.
Woo! Welcome. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
Hype.
So Brendan, he has been doing some editing for us. He's been editing all the Friday episodes, and this is a series that he's going to also be editing and also be guest hosting. Yeah. So it's awesome. It's very exciting. This was kind of an idea that Ethan and I both had. Oh, speaking of which, Ethan, I forgot to give you your moment.
Hi, it's Ethan Kaufman. Hey, hi, hello, everybody. We're done.
Okay.
We did.
I'm glad that you got to do that.
They know who I am at this point.
Yeah. So Ethan and I came up with this idea to do a 2010s movie tournament. And at first we were like, oh, let's do like 64. And 64 jumped to 128. So over the course of the next 5 episodes, including this one, we are going to go through 128 2010s movies and come up with one clear winner in this tournament. It's going to be the first 4 episodes are divided into 4 quarters of the bracket, and then the final episode will be the Sweet 16 until the championship. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited for this.
I am so hyped. I've not
extremely
been this hyped
excited
for an episode ever, I don't think.
You don't think you've ever been this excited for an episode?
I don't know. There's a lot of movies I really like that I'm excited to talk about and advance to rounds unless you disagree with me. So
yeah, I'm really excited too. And just like, we never really got the opportunity to talk about a lot of these in depth.
Yeah.
All right, so shall we get started?
Yes. Can I take this away with 2 things?
Okay, yes.
One, I wanted to explain how we seeded this, because we did seed it. We didn't just decide which movies were going to go up against which movies. Mm-hmm. So we had a big list, whittled it down to 128, and then we ranked them according to 2 pieces of criteria. One is the Letterboxd average rating by just users. 2 is the Letterboxd popularity, which is kind of a mix itself of how many people have watched it, how fast people have watched it after it's come out, stuff like that. And then we just average the ranking of those so that we have the best and most, I guess, essential movies of the 2010s at the top, and then the less good, less essential movies at the bottom of our seating. And we did, along the way, cut a lot of great movies. Logan, would you like to read the 25 movies that did not make the bracket, either because we haven't all seen them and they were thus ineligible, or we have all seen them and they just weren't good or essential enough to be here?
Yeah, okay, so Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Incendies, Inside Llewyn Davis, It Follows, John Wick Chapters 2 and 3, The Lobster, Moonrise Kingdom, The Nice Guys, Paddington, The Revenant, Rocketman, Short Term 12, Silence, Sing Street, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Train to Busan, War for the Planet of the Apes, The Witch, Your Name.
And I'm going to loop back around and add Big Hero 6, 8th grade, Frances Ha, and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. R.I.P.
I accidentally started
a ton of great movies.
A little low.
Wow. That's a ton of great
Those were painful. Those were painful cuts.
Oh, some of those were such painful cuts. Yeah. I hate some of these, but it's essential to make this tournament happen, and we just had to acknowledge those quickly before we got started. So I guess we should start with our first matchup of this quarter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we have you want to?
I was just going to say, I've dubbed this quarter the Parasite quarter. I've kind of dubbed each quarter as their number
name
one
of the
seed.
One seed. All right.
So
Smart.
I guess maybe we could just reveal at least we have the Parasite quarter, the Spider-Verse quarter, the Whiplash quarter, and the Interstellar quarter. So today we are doing the Parasite quarter.
Yes.
Up until the Sweet 16.
We begin with our first matchup, which is 1 seed Parasite versus 32 seed Godzilla from 2014.
I don't think we need to have much of a discussion here, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's, I think, a clear 3-0 Parasite. Godzilla is a solid MonsterVerse movie. I think it's one of the better ones, but Parasite is Parasite.
Definitely.
Clears.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll just jump to the next one.
Yeah, next up we have 16 seed The Tale of the Princess Kaguya versus 17 seed Thor Ragnarok. This one's maybe more of a conversation.
I agree. I think Brendan and I didn't we both watched Kaguya.
Yeah, I
like
just
in the
watched it
past
yesterday
2
for the
days.
first time. Yeah.
Oh, so then
you guys to
yesterday
watch
for
it.
me as well. So I'm really glad that we watched it. It was a beautiful movie.
Extremely
and
beautiful movie.
Some of the best animation I've ever seen.
Totally.
Incredible.
I mean,
yeah.
that one sequence where she's running through the forest in that
Yes.
sort of dream just blew my mind. I was like, oh, like, just what am I looking at? But in a good way, you know?
I stand by what I said in our top 10 animated movies episode, which is the style is so unique and minimalist. It's just really cool. And a lot of, I mean, like the story is great. Everything is great. But I think what really makes it for me is just I've never seen a movie that looks like this. And I don't know if I ever will again.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I really love the style. It's extremely different. It's really just like to catch up, I had to watch Wind Rises and Princess Kaguya, and like watching those back to back. Yeah, totally, completely different styles, and yeah, really emotional movie.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like we all agree on this. Are we
Well,
giving any words to Thor Ragnarok?
we didn't even talk about Thor Ragnarok. I think we
yeah.
kind of should. It's a really good MCU movie, but at the end of the day, it's an MCU movie,
Okay.
and it's not like one of the best Marvel movies.
I would also
It's
agree.
not.
That's not one of the best
Yeah.
Marvel movies.
Like, it's
Yeah.
really fun. It has some great moments. Like Jeff Goldblum,
Yeah.
he's here. He's great. Hulk, great. Chris Hemsworth, great. Taika Waititi,
Loki, great.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Loki's
Get
great.
help.
I mean, but at the end of the day, Kaguya is just gorgeous.
Yeah, I think Ragnarok is really good, both for the MCU, but more specifically for Thor. I think it was like a very much needed change of pace for the character. But again, it's like you're going up against what I think is one of the best Studio Ghibli movies. Like, it's really not much of a contest for me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I'm guessing it's 3-0, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so 3-0 Kaguya, and that will move to face Parasite in the second round. That's
Yes.
a matchup right there. Okay.
Next we have
is-
got
oh.
8 seed Joker versus 25 seed The Amazing Spider-Man.
I have a hot take.
You have a hot take. Oh no.
Ooh, hot take.
You're
The
picking
Amazing
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man is just, I carry that theater experience with me really deeply for whatever reason. It's the first Spider-Man movie I ever got to experience in a movie theater. Andrew Garfield, I think, plays a wonderful Peter Parker, even though he's kind of a weird skateboard kid. I think the Lizard is a solid Spider-Man villain. I think the romance between Peter and Gwen in this film is the best romance we've
Totally.
seen in any Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because it's not a Mary Jane romance, you know?
Right.
And Joker, on the other hand, in my opinion, is just a worse version of King of Comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would personally pick Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
But I don't know about you guys.
I'm picking Joker, even though I do agree with you on those criticisms. And I really, like, it was one of my least favorites. I think it might have been my least favorite of the Best Picture nominees that year.
Mhm.
As I've sat with it more, it just hasn't aged that well. And I'm curious to see what Todd Phillips does with Joker 2. Like, it looks to be something different and interesting. But the first one is very derivative. And it's not in the way where you can look past it and be like, yeah, but it's just because it's like, it's a crime film and it's Joker. Like, it's very overt with that. And I do think it hurts the movie. But like, Joaquin Phoenix is giving just a great performance. It looks fantastic. And so I think on a technical level and a performance level, like I have to pick it.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
fair.
also picking Joker. I agree with a lot of the same
Alright.
things Ethan said. It's a bit derivative. It's definitely no king of comedy, but still has a lot of excellent moments, like with the climax and with Joker in the train sequence and a lot of stuff like that. Beautiful performances, amazing score. And yeah, I think it's slightly better than Amazing Spider-Man, which is just okay.
Plus, The Amazing
That's fair.
Spider-Man doesn't have Robert De Niro getting shot in the face.
No.
Does not have
it
that.
Does not.
Yeah.
that,
None of that.
that was the highlight of Joker for me. I mean, my other, I guess, argument against Joker, even though obviously Joker didn't win, is that it seems like we have at least two better Joaquin performances in this tournament.
I would agree, yeah.
I would
Yeah.
also agree, yeah.
So it's just the kind of thing where even like the really big thing that's pushing Joker, that being the Oscar-winning performance for Joaquin, like, is that really because it's such a good Joaquin Phoenix performance, or is it just because it's his first, like, I guess, widely accepted performance?
I think by Joaquin Phoenix standards, it could have been better, but by just general performance standards, like, I would still put it as one of my favorites of the year, even if it was, like, he wasn't my personal pick for Best Actor that year, but I still think it's a great performance.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I
That's
also
fair.
think it's a really great performance.
All right, so I guess we'll move on.
Yes, we have 9 seed Midsommar versus 24 seed Bohemian Rhapsody. Which one of y'all want to go first on this?
I'm going Midsommar for this.
Okay.
All right, why?
I think Midsommar is. I think it's 5 stars. I think it's one of the best horror movies of the 2010s. Phenomenal direction. Florence Pugh is amazing. So many great moments. It's just a fantastic horror movie. And the Bohemian Rhapsody is just. It's all right. It's an entertaining, enjoyable music biopic with a great performance from Freddie Mercury, but it's nothing special.
A great performance from Freddie Mercury?
Oh, sorry.
Did he
I
come
mean,
back
from
from
Rami
I guess it really
Malek.
was. You couldn't tell the difference.
You couldn't. Yes, I couldn't tell the difference. That's why. Yeah, great performance from Rami Malek. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Logan?
despite the amazing concert sequence at the end of Bohemian Rhapsody, I think the rest of the movie is pretty fine. Midsommar, on the other hand, I'm not even the biggest fan of Midsommar, probably just because I haven't seen it in years and would probably view it from a very different lens now than I did years ago. But I still recognize that it's a great horror film with just some amazing levels of just technical craft in filmmaking, but also just it's so terrifying in the daylight,
Yeah.
which is really hard to do for a horror movie.
It's
Hereditary didn't even really do
off-putting.
that.
And not, I would argue, not even in a scary way, but just like, something's off. You're just kind of uneasy the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it always feels trippy, like the way that, like, the backgrounds just kind of wiggle around just to, like, kind of simulate that drug feeling. And you haven't seen it in years, but I, meanwhile, saw this in IMAX, the director's cut, this summer. And it is one of my favorite theater experiences I've had in a long time, and reaffirmed that it's one of my favorite horror movies of the decade, one of my favorite lead performances of the decade. And when you put that against Bohemian Rhapsody, which I do think has a very good concert sequence, but at the end of the day might be my least favorite movie on this entire bracket.
Oh my god.
This is a very obvious winner for me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
a
this is
very
also an
decisive
obvious winner.
3-0
Yeah.
for Midsommar, and we can move on.
We can move on. We have 4 seed Arrival versus 29 seed Ready or Not.
I think this is pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ready or Not is a fun thriller. Radio Silence does a great job, and they deserve the success that they've gotten after Ready or Not. But Arrival is a masterpiece, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Denis, this was his first step into sci-fi, and he creates this world of just such immense curiosity, in my opinion. Amy Adams is fantastic. Jeremy Renner is fantastic. The whole just alien plot of this film I found to be really well done and portrays aliens in a way that I've never seen in film before. So to me, this is a very decisive Arrival win.
Yeah. I think the way that the aliens are portrayed, like the whole movie just has this very kind of meditative tone. Like, it's not somber, because I think that implies it's like depressing, which it isn't.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's slower and grounded, and I think a lot of that is just owed to how Denis directs a movie. And I'm not going to say it's my favorite sci-fi film of his, because it's not, but for this to be really his first trip into that, like, you'd think he'd been doing it for over a decade, just the way that he, I think, transfers a lot of what made something like Prisoners work, or like Enemy, really, to a story of this scope, and it just works.
Yeah, it's really
I
told
agree.
on it has a great scope. It has a lot of great suspense and a lot of great mystery throughout. I love how it kind of structures time and like kind of leads to an excellent twist that I didn't really see coming. Excellent, great writing, and Amy Adams is really great in it. Yeah, it's just a phenomenal sci-fi film.
Yeah,
All right, so
good
3-0
stuff.
Arrival.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right. And that
Next
brings
matchup
us
is 13 seed Toy Story 3 versus 20 seed The Avengers.
Ouch, this one kills me.
really
Such a
okay.
tough
So
decision.
then, Brendan, I think you should get into it.
Yeah.
I think these are both some of my favorite movies. This is really hard, but I love Toy Story 3 so much. It's one of the best Toy Story movies, obviously. A fantastic almost ending, or it could have been the ending. A lot of great characters, excellent villain, extremely emotional ending. But I'm gonna have to go with Avengers 1 for this. It's still, I think Avengers 1 is the best Avengers out of all the 4 Avengers movies, and it's probably top 3 MCU for me. I love all the characters. I still love all the jokes and the action sequences. Yeah, I think Avengers is amazing.
That Avengers take is such a hot take, but it's so respectable. I love that.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I disagree with you intensely, but I, like, thank you.
Yeah.
I
Infinity
also
War and Endgame are
disagree.
still really great. I just think Avengers 1 is the best.
In my opinion, I think Avengers 1, the more I've watched it, the more boring it's gotten.
Mm.
It's just, in my opinion, there's not that many layers to Avengers 1, where every time I go back, there's not more for me to unravel. Like, I feel like there is with Endgame and Infinity War. Well, on the other hand, like, and also just Avengers, for me, the plot hasn't stuck with me too much in the sense
Yeah.
where I just think about it randomly. Toy Story 3 it has. I just randomly think of Lotso and get scared. And just like get like a little anxious.
But he
you know?
smells like strawberries.
Exactly. That's why I get anxious. It's just it's Toy Story 3. And I remember seeing this in the theater too. And that experience and just seeing that ending and seeing the scene in like the landfill or whatever that was on
They
the
just
big
accept
screen.
their mortality.
Yeah, it's just insane for a kids movie, and I have not seen this movie in like probably twice the amount of time as like Midsommar, but this movie has stuck with me so much more, and I think that really says something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, this is a very decisive Toy Story win.
Nice. And I'm the swing vote.
You are.
Yes. I really do have still an appreciation for the first Avengers movie. I saw it in theaters when it came out way back in 2012, and it was, at that point, I didn't have many other contenders, but like, it was just such a landmark theater experience for me, and also just for the culture. Like, I think in the last decade plus, we've forgotten how big a deal just this one movie was. And Logan, I do agree with you. I think it has lost some entertainment value over the years. Like, it's great for nostalgic reasons, but I think because of how, not a good or bad way, but overstimulating the MCU has become, even just with Infinity War and Endgame, something this simple I have an issue with. It's not the movie itself, it's just in the context of the franchise. I think it just has less to bring. Toy Story 3, on the other hand, I'm sorry, Brendan, just clearly wins out for me. It was for a while top 2 Pixar movies, I would say. It's not anymore, but it's still my favorite Toy Story movie. It brings me to tears every time I watch it, and it's not even just the ending when they're in the landfill and when Andy gives Woody away to Bonnie. There are scenes now, especially, that we're in college now. So the scene where Andy's mom comes into his room before he's leaving and just tears up for a second because she just processes that he's like going away. That hits really hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's just a lot of great moments. Chuckles the clown when he gives Lotso's backstory. It's so funny. I don't know why I find him so funny. He's just hilarious. I love him. And it's a prison break movie. It's just fun. I like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm picking Toy Story 3 here.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Toy Story 3 is still amazing. I still agree with a lot of what you said. And we got Michael Keaton as Ken before Ryan Gosling.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm now worried because I'm worried because I'm the only one now out of the three of us that's been on the right side of the vote every time, and one of these matchups, you guys are going to break my heart, and I'm not going to know what to do. Yeah.
Well, we'll see now with a Portrait of a Lady on Fire and Megamind, the 5 and 28 seeds. Ethan, how about you?
I mean, this is a very obvious one for me. I saw Portrait of a Lady on Fire in New York City before it had its wide release, and I cried like a baby. And then I saw it again in a theater near me, and then I watched it like one or two more times. It's so... ravishing was the word that was tossed around in all of the pretentious reviews when it came out, and so that's the one I'll use. It's only 2 hours, but it feels very slow, but in the good way, where it just envelops you in the romance. I think it looks beautiful, like the costumes, the cinematography. It just takes you back to, what is it, like 18th century France?
I believe it's 18th century.
One of those centuries. You just get caught up in it, and there are so many, like, it's a movie that understands the romances in the small details. And there are, like, obviously the ending with like the swelling music. You have like the portrait when she has like her finger on the page and then she sees it. I haven't seen this movie in a while. I'm forgetting details. But it's just, I just get caught up in how lovingly crafted it is. Like I have a hard time explaining why the romance works so well. It feels romantic. And I think with romance movies, that's something that weirdly a lot of the time doesn't happen, is that it feels like they're just making a movie and there's a romance that happens to be in it. The way that this is made is romantic, just down to the filmmaking. And I think that's what really puts it over the edge. Whereas I do love Megamind, and like it's so fun, it's so quotable, and I think it does a lot of what The Incredibles was doing, but in like a fun DreamWorks kind of way. But at the end of the day, it's Megamind, and I'm not going to pick it over Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is high art.
Yes. High art. All right. What about you, Brendan?
Yeah, this is going to be weird, but I think I'm going to choose Megamind over Portrait. It's kind of weird because they're both completely different movies. So different, yeah. And they're hard to compare, but I just personally didn't resonate with Portrait of a Lady on Fire the most as I did with Megamind. It's mostly just because I haven't seen Portrait of a Lady on Fire like a long time ago. Like I just haven't. I thought it was maybe just a little too slow for me when I watched it. I just haven't really thought about it that much. Still great writing, still great performances, and I still remember that ending. It's still really well done and all, but I'm going to go with Megamind just because I love it, and I think it's a great superhero movie. Will Ferrell is amazing in it. I respect the hot takes. It was very popular first semester of college.
That's very true. Popular. Everybody was watching Megamind.
Everybody was watching Megamind very beginning. Because of one joke, yeah.
Well, Ethan, I now have the chance to break your heart.
Don't do it. Please don't do it.
And Megamind
you can't.
Is a classic that I loved so much when I was a kid. Portrait of a Lady on Fire used to be my favorite movie like ever made.
Damn.
Wow.
It really touched me in its romance. It felt like it touched me, not the right word. I felt touched.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah, is that better? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say touched me. It really moved me. How about that? It moved me.
Okay.
Move can still be
like a non-creepy way.
Yes, in a non-creepy way. So this film just, I've never seen a romance developed in the way of Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It, even though like the will they won't they is a classic trope in Hollywood, I think, or in film in general, this film spins it on its head with this very artistic perspective, not only from the character, but also just from the look of this film. It felt like every shot could have been painted just in the way it was colored and shot and all of that. I remember that being one of the things that stood out to me the most about this film when I first watched it, is that I felt like every shot was just some painted image rather than, you know, a film. And the romance itself is wonderful. The orchestra scene at the end of this movie still sticks with me, when they just look out at each other and you see that Adele Hanel's character, I think that's her name. If I remember correctly, I think so, she was all alone. You know, it's not like she was even with this person who she essentially had to drop. I don't want to butcher this name, but it's not Naomi, but I want to say Naomi.
Something like
that, character. Like she has to drop her, one because it's a queer relationship at a time when that's not accepted, but also because she was already betrothed. And to see that she's at an orchestra all alone without her husband, I think just kind of speaks volumes on how lonely that character must be, like, now, and that there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
And it's just this heartbreaking ending, but you also feel kind of good because at least they got to see each other somewhat again.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm taking Portrait of a Lady on Fire very easily. Ethan, I'm not breaking your heart.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Our next one's not an easy choice. Or is it an easy choice? I don't know.
We'll see.
We've got 12 Once Upon a Time in Hollywood versus 21 Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Who wants to take it away?
Brendan, you go first.
To me, this is an easy choice. I would say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think it's one of Tarantino's best. Love the Hollywood 1960s setting. Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt are both great in this, and their roles. I keep seeing it pop up because like so many of the actors who play in the Manson Cult are like all now like big Hollywood stars.
Yeah,
like kind of rising stars. Like it's so crazy to see them all. Yeah, like I haven't rewatched it in a while, but like it'd be crazy to rewatch it and see like, oh, those are all the big stars. And yeah, fantastic. Love the ending. One of my favorite movie endings. Hilarious, surprising. Rogue One is still really good, but I think it's far from the best Star Wars movies. It's not one of the best. It's good. Some great action sequences, but yeah, it's just good.
I would even argue that Rogue One is the worst Star Wars movie on this bracket.
I would agree.
Three that we have. Or at least the worst, I'd say, for the context of this tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Brendan. I think Once Upon a Time clears Rogue One.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on first viewing left me wanting a little more, just because like it was the first Tarantino movie I saw in a theater, and it's such a hangout movie. Like there's not much going on a plot level, and so it left me wanting more. But as I've gone back to it, I've now watched it I think 3 times. You just like hanging out with these characters. Yeah. It's a world you want to spend time in, and I don't know. It's just a vibe. We know me. We know I love my vibes. It's a vibes movie.
It is a vibes
and
movie.
An excellent vibe movie.
Yeah. Rogue One I think is great. And it's like, for what on the surface feels like just such a cash grab from Disney, like it actually winds up being really interesting. And I think the context that it provides for the original Star Wars, I think is really cool. And I think like the third act takes a lot of big swings, honestly, and most of them hit. but I do still have to go towards Once Upon a Time in Hollywood just because the vibes are unmatched.
Yeah.
Next up, we have our 2 seed La La Land versus 31 seed Jurassic World. This is clearly a nail biter. I have no idea what's winning here.
Yeah,
Wow,
I have no
such a
idea
nail biter.
either. Yeah. I mean, Jurassic World was a great theater experience, but La La Land is a great every watch experience.
Yeah.
Damien Chazelle is a master. This is
God.
Yeah, he is God, and this is God's work.
Yeah.
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 All right. We haven't had any upsets yet. This is
No,
not going to last.
Not yet. We'll see.
All right.
I mean, maybe we'll see one now. With
Maybe it
The
happens right
Hateful
here.
Eight and Deadpool.
15 and 18 seeds.
Yeah. The Hateful Eight, not saying my opinion, but arguably one of Tarantino's weakest films.
Arguably,
So,
yes.
Who wants to take this?
I'll go first, I guess.
Okay.
I do agree. The Hateful Eight is not in the upper echelon of Tarantino's filmography. However, I have thought since I watched it for the first time, it's underrated as hell. And even after I rewatched part of it recently and didn't love it as much as I did, it's like he's never done a thriller like this. I was about to say he's never done a thriller. Reservoir Dogs, I think, is definitely like counting there, but they're just so isolated. You really don't know anything about any of these people, and it's just about how they are lying to each other the whole time and keeping secrets, and it's a really interesting story, I think, even though there's not much to it. Like, it is long, it's slow, but I would say I prefer it to Deadpool, which I didn't watch for the first time till recently, and like, it's fun. The self-awareness is fantastic, and I think like I really enjoyed learning Deadpool's backstory, which I wasn't familiar with, but like I do prefer the Hateful Eight.
I'm going with Deadpool 1 over Hateful Eight. I think Hateful Eight still is really great. I remember I've seen it twice, and the first time I didn't like it that much, but then I watched the extended cut that Tarantino made a while ago, and I liked that a lot better. It's definitely a bit slow. But it's very good. A lot of great suspense, and I like how it builds up, and they're all just lying to each other. A lot of excellent performances of Samuel L. Jackson, Walton Goggins. They're all great. But I think I'm going to go with Deadpool just because it was the first RA movie I ever saw, so it was a very personal experience. And yeah, it's one of my favorite superhero movies. I think it's a lot more than just fun for me. I think the comedy and the action are really great, but I still think it has a really good story. And I think it has Deadpool has a strong arc with like trying to impress Vanessa and then getting revenge. And I think it's very creative how it kind of cuts back and forth time wise. I think it does a lot of great stuff with like the character drama and conflict that's not as good in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. Well, I hate to break it, but I am not going to go with the upset pick. I'm going to go with Hateful Eight pretty easily, in my opinion. I think Deadpool is a good superhero movie, but Hateful Eight is just like, I guess when I first viewed it, it kind of boggled my mind with how entertained I was just by a bunch of conversations and this ever increasing tension that just would not be dropped. It's not dropped for a second, in my opinion. The only reason why I think it's the quote unquote weakest Tarantino film, or one of the weakest Tarantino films, is because I guess it's just not as flashy, which is a fine argument to make, but my God, does it make for a good watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now we might have an upset, though.
Next up, we've got 7 seed Avengers Infinity War versus 26 seed Fruitvale Station.
All right.
Who's going first?
Brendan, I think you should go first because you've seen Fruitvale the most recently.
Yeah, I just saw Fruitvale Station for the first time. I think it blew me away. It was phenomenal. An excellent directorial debut from Ryan Coogler. Really great performance from both Michael B. Jordan and Octavia Spencer. I love the kind of humanity in the film. I love it's very short, but it's like spends a good amount of time with the characters, and it's a great drama, and then it builds to a really, really sad ending, really tragic. It's really well done. and I'm going with that over Infinity War, which is still great. Infinity War is still great. It's one of the best Marvel movies, but I just think Fruitvale Station, I think is easily better than that.
This is the very, very rare moment where you will catch me picking the incredibly mainstream superhero flick over the prestige drama. Infinity War is my favorite MCU movie, and I still think, even though everybody has seen it, everybody has said something about it, I just love how it is able to balance way too many characters just so well. And the kind of fetch quest of Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones, I think it's a plot device, it's a MacGuffin, but it's a really well structured one where he's kind of the main character of the movie, and I think that's just a really interesting spin on a superhero movie where you're following the villain the whole time. And I still love, again, big swings in mainstream franchises are huge for me, and so the way that this movie ends the way it does, I love. And while Fruitvale Station I think is fantastic too, and I think really brings out the tragedy in what it's depicting by being so contained, by just kind of staying on Michael B. Jordan over the course of this one day, and his performance is incredible. I haven't seen it in a very long time, and it just didn't stick with me the way that this obviously insane cultural moment in pop culture has. And I think Fruitvale Station's at a disadvantage because of that, but I'm going to give in to that disadvantage because Infinity War is a movie that I come back to more often.
I think Infinity War has a different disadvantage, though, which is the reason why I'm not going to pick Infinity War. That being that it's paired with Endgame. And I think if you happen to be somebody who prefers Endgame, then you just kind of look at Infinity War as Infinity War, just like as the sort of prequel to a better movie. And that
Are you saying you're one of those people?
I am one of those people.
Damn.
So like I enjoyed Infinity War, but I do find Endgame to be a lot better. So I just can't excuse myself for like voting for Infinity War over Fruitvale Station, where the movie hasn't stuck with me too much, but the ending has. And the message it's getting across in a very grim way sticks. And it's something that you just can't fully shake, especially when its depictions of racism and just police brutality and whatnot are things that I had never really thought about before I watched this film because I was really young and naive. And this film opened my eyes up to that.
Mm-hmm.
So
our first upset,
quote unquote.
I'm glad this was the one though. Like
Me
if any movie that wasn't supposed to make it to the next round was going to make it, I'm happy it's Fruitvale Station.
That's good.
Yeah, I might be biased because I just saw it last week, but I'm super happy Fruitvale Station is going next round.
Recency bias is valid.
It is. All right. Next matchup, 10 seed The Florida Project versus 23 Zootopia. Who wants it?
I'll take it.
Okay.
This one's closer than I thought it was going to be. Like, in thinking about it now, it's not as much of a runaway victory as it might be on paper. Zootopia is obviously a movie that, like, I saw it in theaters. I really loved it at the time, and I still do think it's one of the better Disney outings in, like, the last decade and a half, whatever. Florida Project is my pick here. I think Sean Baker, who I feel like I can't say... Like, I still haven't seen Red Rocket, and I haven't even gone back to the Florida Project, but it was, when I watched it, I was just swept up in how, one, naturalistic it feels, because you're just kind of sticking with these children for a lot of it, and you get swept up in that mindset of just, like, what it is like to be a little kid kind of running around this beautiful, like, purple motel. Like, it looks great. The cinematography is really underrated here. Nobody talks about it. Willem Dafoe gives a really, really good supporting performance. I love him here. I love him everywhere, but like he's really awesome here. And well, I think out of the two, Zootopia is the one I would pick if it was just what has stuck with me more, what I find to be more memorable. I think there is an essence to the Florida Project that Zootopia doesn't have. Maybe that's just because it's bogged down in all of the Disney-isms and ripping off The Godfather for a weak joke. But like, I don't know. Florida Project my pick here.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure about this one.
This is a really
these
hard
are both
one.
really, really good movies. It's hard to tell. Florida Project is really great, a very great drama that's just kind of very like just kind of focusing on these everyday moments that these kids are facing in this motel, and it's really well done. And Zootopia is, I think, a really great Disney movie with a really great story, a lot of great writing. I think both those characters, Judy and Nick, are really well developed, and they have a great buddy cop relationship. I think I'm just gonna go Zootopia slightly. Like, they're hard to compare. I both think they're really good.
It's a close one.
Yeah, I was tempted to go with Zootopia. I really was. But the Florida Project just paints the lives of all of these people with such a fascinating lens. The lens of just this almost like an unbiased kind of a lens. I feel like the direction from Baker here isn't trying to make you side with certain people. It's very much a just you are seeing what's happening and can think about it however you want to think about it. You're not sort of forced to pick a side. And it's just really complex because you look at it from this child perspective that you're shown for most of this film. And the child perspective is really interesting because you see the ways that they're really mature, but you also see the naiveties of being so young. While on the other hand, you also get the adult perspective next to that. And this adult perspective is so contrary to the perspective of these kids sometimes. These kids who kind of think that they can get away with anything and do anything that they want. And some of these adults who don't care, and others who this film does a good job showing that, showing the reality of the adult perspective in this film, and just the adult world, and the fact that even though this movie looks beautiful and that the motel is a gorgeous looking motel on film, it is a dump, and you do see that. So yeah, I mean, the Florida Project is great, and I don't
You're
even
really
think it's
making me want
Sean
to
Baker's
rewatch
best
it.
film. Yeah, I've only seen 2 Sean Baker films, but I can happily say that it's not as good as Sonora. So
Yeah, I also agree. It's not as good as Sonora.
yeah. So Ethan, you can be jealous about that.
I'm excited. No, I'm hyped. I still have it to look forward to now.
You do.
It's really great. It was worth
Yeah,
winning the Palme d'Or.
Yeah.
good stuff.
All right. Number 3, Django Unchained versus 30 Crazy Rich Asians. Django Unchained.
Yeah.
Django Unchained, yeah.
Okay.
I'm honestly willing to not even talk about it and just like wait until we have it in another matchup to really get into Django Unchained. You've already talked about 2 Tarantino movies.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
I mean,
fine with that.
Crazy Rich Asians is a good film, good rom-com, but paired with Django Unchained, it's just a very
Did
tough
not
matchup.
stand a chance. Yeah.
No. So let's get to a more interesting matchup. And number 14, Black Klansman, and 19, Us. This kills me.
This is potentially the toughest one so far.
Yeah. They're very good films. Really tough.
So who wants to start?
I'll take it.
Okay, Ethan.
And it might be unfair, Black Klansman I have seen once, and it was back in 2018 before finalizing my end of year list. I saw Us in theaters 3 times, and I've watched it since then. For whatever reason, I thought it was like the greatest thing ever when it came out. I've obviously dialed that back since then to where now it's my least favorite Jordan Peele film, which is not saying a lot because they're all great, but I think despite my issues with the third act, which are very much a problem and has definitely brought it down in my mind a lot, it is, unfortunately, I don't know if it's fair, it's just the one that I've seen more, and it's the one that stuck with me. And I think having those theater experiences, like those were amazing, just like late night horror, and it's an original horror movie, and it's, you don't get a lot of those. A lot of people say that, but you don't. And Black Klansman, I think, has so many really, really great performances. Definitely one of Adam Driver's most underrated performances. This I might peg as like the beginning of John David Washington really taking off, and he is so fantastic here. The screenplay is fantastic, and the way that he just reads that dialogue is great. And Spike Lee's direction here, I might argue, is better than Peele's direction in Us. But I think I am going to pick Us very narrowly, just because it is the one that has stuck with me more and feels, on a bracket like this, like the more essential movie, at least to me. But it's close.
I beg to differ. I have seen Black Klansman numerous times at this point. I actually saw it just for fun earlier this year.
Just for fun?
Yeah, it's just a Spike Lee joint that I love. You know, it's stuck with me ever since the first viewing. I watched it kind of at a similar time as when I watched Fruitvale Station. Just, I think after Fruitvale Station kind of opened my eyes to parts of the world I wasn't accepting of, I then tried to explore more of that through film. So then I watched Black Klansman, and it's so funny. That's a really big takeaway. A lot of it, yeah. It's hilarious. And I love watching Spike Lee make fun of the KKK. And I will go back to this film any day of the week. I love it.
Brendan, I'm going with Logan on this. Yeah, Black Klansman's film. I've seen it twice, just the same amount of times I've seen Us. Well, Us is really great. It's really great. But it is Jordan Peele's it is weakest film. It is weakest film. But I think Black Klansman is one of the best films I've seen from Spike Lee. I haven't seen too many, but I think it's great. I think it has a lot of great both comedy and drama. It's fantastically directed. It like kind of opened my eyes through a lot of things about the real world I didn't really realize when I saw it. I was really young when I saw it, or I saw it not too long after it came out. So yeah, it kind of opened up a lot, and I think it had a fantastic ending that really stuck with me for a while.
I might agree with you guys if I were to rewatch it, because I think that's really what's holding it back right now. Is I've only seen it once, and it was many years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's probably why I wasn't too big on Portrait of Lady on Fire and Full Letter Pride. I just haven't seen those in a long time.
Yeah.
You can't rewatch everything as much as you might want to.
Exactly.
As much as I try to.
So now we got the Disney matchup of really this quarter
the 2017 Disney matchup.
Oh, I didn't even realize that they both came out in 2017.
The late 2017 Disney matchup.
Even more entertaining. We got number 6 Coco versus number 27 The Last Jedi. Is it only me, or is this a really hard decision?
This is a tough one. I'm gonna go first, if that's cool.
Yes. Okay.
The Last Jedi is the worst movie on this bracket according to Letterboxd, and I will not stand for that. The fact that it's so popular boosted it from being a 32 seed. And this is a tough one because I love Coco so much. The animation is incredible. The story, I think, is one of Pixar's most nuanced, and I think it stands really toe-to-toe with Inside Out as being like the definitive original movie of this era of Pixar, which is not their strongest time overall. I still think the 2000s, you have to give it to that. But like as a sort of revival, like this was a good time to be a Pixar fan, especially for me who hadn't seen those 2000s movies in theaters. However, while I think Coco is probably the better movie and is definitely less flawed than The Last Jedi, I am going with The Last Jedi, which is my personal favorite Star Wars movie aside from Empire Strikes Back. And I think I love how divisive it is.
Me too.
Because I think it's just shown me so much clearer than I ever could have seen what I like out of Star Wars and what I want this franchise to be. And even if it isn't that all the time, I'm fine. I don't sink my life into Star Wars like all the people claiming Rian Johnson ruined their lives.
Yeah.
But there are so many moments throughout this movie. It's really the last hour, I think, where it shines, where you have like the fight in the throne room with Rey and Kylo Ren, which just some of the choreography there is insane. You have Luke on that weird, like ghost Luke on like the weird snow salt whatever planet, where it's like him against the whole army of the First Order, and like Adam Driver's just yelling like more, and everyone's just shooting him, and then the red dust settles and he just wipes his shoulder, and that is just one of the most badass moments of movies across this whole decade.
Yeah.
There is just so much here, and it's why I admire Rian Johnson as a writer and a director so much, is he loves subverting expectations. And with a Star Wars movie where there's so much baggage attached to that, it really pissed a lot of people off. But I love a director who takes swings like that, and I think the fact that it is so bold, even if not everything works, like Canto Bite, the casino planet, it's not great. Like it spends too much time there. It's not amazing. But there are so many other parts of this movie that I absolutely adore, to where while Coco might be the better package overall, I don't think Coco has higher highs than The Last Jedi. So that's why I'm picking it.
That's fair. All right. Brendan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, it breaks my heart because these are both amazing movies. I think both of these are both phenomenal films, and it breaks my heart to like pick one or the other. But I guess I'm gonna have to go The Last Jedi by like
Let's go!
the slightest, like extremely slightest. Because Coco is amazing. It's extremely well written. It was a beautiful exploration of Day of the Dead. It was kind of an instant classic when it came out. Everybody loved it. The music is iconic. I think it's a really great story. It was still very surprising, and just it kind of seemed like it maybe would have been predictable at the beginning, but then it kind of went in a really interesting direction with the family, and was very emotional. I still get swell up whenever it plays Remember Me, but I'm gonna go with. But I do love The Last Jedi a lot. I think it's my third favorite Star Wars movie. It was just the last hour was like one of the most. I was on the most time in the theater was just on the edge of my seat the entire time. It was just so exciting to watch everything unfold. I think everything with Luke and Kylo Ren and Rey is amazing, and there's just so many great sequences, and the action is phenomenal, and it kind of made Rian Johnson one of my favorite filmmakers. He always makes something that's just extremely exciting to watch. I'm always on the edge of my seat, and I'm always kind of it's always unpredictable. Yeah, I'm always wondering what's going to happen next.
We didn't even mention when Holdo cuts Snoke's ship in half and that whole sequence.
That was awesome
fantastic.
too.
I forgot about that.
Too. Yeah, Star Wars Jedi is great at building tension versus a lot of other Star Wars movies. I think it has
Logan, you
great
look sad
job
right
at
now.
stakes and tension.
Well,
really sad.
I feel like we're not mentioning the low lows of The Last Jedi. I am a Last Jedi supporter, but let us not forget Canto Bite.
I know.
Canto Bite, it's not that bad.
There is not a low, even half as low in
Definitely
Coco
not. No.
as Canto Bite in The Last Jedi. My vote does not matter, but I would go with Coco here.
It's okay.
I think Coco is an excellent Pixar film, and I don't want to go on about it for the sake of time, but it's amazing. And I do like The Last Jedi. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies, but I think Coco is better.
I think The Last Jedi is like the single most flawed movie that I still give 5 stars, but like those low lows don't ruin the movie for me like they do so many others, or even just drag it down at all, really.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
Yeah, and the Canto Bite sequence, it's still flesh. It still shows a lot of just the world that like the normal people are living in outside of the war in the sequel trilogy, and it still comes back with the end with the broom kid. So
I'm not even going to defend it. I don't like it, but still.
All right. Well, let's move on to the round that I said breaks my heart. before we started recording, that being number 11 versus 22, Uncut Gems in the Lego Movie.
Yes.
I would
our
like
last
to...
matchup of this round.
Yes, it is. After almost an hour.
Oh,
and
dang.
I would like to just open this up.
Do it.
The Lego Movie is one of my favorite animated movies ever made. And I can quote, if I watch this movie, I could quote almost the entire movie. You know?
It's a lot of
Uncut
lines.
Gems is amazing. It introduced me to the Safdies and Adam Sandler being a good actor. I'd never seen that before. And then I was like, oh my God, Adam Sandler has range. This is insane. But I'm going to go with the Lego Movie. And I have a feeling you guys are both not going to go with the Lego Movie, which is why I wanted to go first.
I'll chime in next.
Yeah.
I love the Lego Movie, and it is still one of the most surprisingly fantastic movies to come out of the 2010s. Had no right being this good. It was like everyone just thought it was going to be an hour, like a feature-length commercial, and there's so much heart to it. And the way that it uses kind of building and creation as a vessel to kind of put forth a more motivational message than I think anybody was expecting is amazing. And then the but comes. But we've already talked about Parasite. We've already talked about Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Uncut Gems was right in that window of like the last couple months of 2019 when me and my dad and sometimes my brother would like go into the city pretty much every weekend because there were so many just incredible movies getting limited releases every weekend. Uncut Gems was one of them, and it's been said a lot. The Safdies know how to stress you out way more than you ever need to be stressed out watching a movie. Yeah. And Uncut Gems is just it's so fun, but it is so tense and hard to watch just because of how chaotic it is, how much is going on. Like, I haven't read the screenplay, but I've looked at it, and like the number of just overlapping lines of dialogue from different characters that they have on the page at once is insane. You obviously have Adam Sandler giving what I would probably say is a career best performance, and he's just going for it. He's going nutso, and it's such a fun time. But like in a way where it's not fun, it's entertaining, yet you're always on edge, not in like a scared or tense way, but it's a lot. It's so overwhelming, but in the best way possible. So I've got to pick it here, as much as I love the Lego Movie.
Yeah,
right, Brendan,
I agree.
Break my heart.
I am not going to break your heart, Logan. I'm going with the Lego Movie.
No! No!
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Damn it.
I love Uncut Gems. It's really fantastic, and I agree with a lot of what you said. I think it's one of the best performances from Adam Sandler, or at least for a while. Like, 2019 was the time where he was doing a lot of like the Netflix original comedies, and this is very, very different from that. But yeah, it's constantly anxiety inducing. Just like my heart was racing the entirety of seeing this film for the first time. It's kind of like a modern day King of Comedy or Taxi Driver. That's what it kind of felt like, but like kind of in a good way, where it's not like derivative like maybe Joker is. It's just like it's kind of a great deconstruction of just like this kind of person that just continues to make mistakes and continues to fall down. Yeah. But the Lego Movie, yeah, it's a personal favorite. It's got amazing writing, so much creative stop motion, or the animation is so creative it kind of feels like stop motion, but it's not. So much creativity with what they do with the Legos and with just the story. It's really fast paced. And what else? Yeah, I can easily quote it. I've seen it maybe at least 24 times, maybe. Yeah, I'm going with the Lego Movie.
For those of you
everything is awesome.
For those of you at home who do not have access to our spreadsheet, which is all of you, I believe that Logan has now capitalized the title of the Lego Movie in the next round, that it has now made it to in an upset because he's just so happy it's there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fix that. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Well, you fixed it the first time.
I fixed it the first time, and then I realized, like, I think I thought you were on caps lock, and then realized you're just happy.
Yeah, I am. I mean, Legos were just kind of my whole childhood.
Yeah.
So when I heard that there were like when I went to go and see the Lego movie, I did just kind of go in expecting it to not be great and just expecting a standard movie. And then I got like one of one of my favorite movies, really, just kind of flat out. And it just it is it is a just great film. I mean, I still do Legos. Tuesday episodes.
Have y'all seen the
I
Lego
build
Adventures of
Legos.
Clutch Powers? Have you seen the Clutch Powers Lego movie?
I have seen the
I
Clutch
have
Powers
not.
Lego movie.
That's my Lego movie right there.
I haven't
All
seen
right.
it, so I haven't even heard of it. All right, let's go back to Parasite.
The round of 64. Let's do it.
Oh my god,
Hype.
we are officially over halfway through our
Stakes
mashups
have
in this
increased.
episode. They have. All right.
All right.
Well, Parasite versus The Tale of Princess Kaguya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to take this?
I'll take it. I think
Okay.
I love Princess Kaguya so much. One of my favorite Ghibli movies, 5-star movie. This is not a contest for me, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of this matchup comes down to just Princess Kaguya is very minimalist and it succeeds because of that, but I think Parasite has many more moving parts. The editing specifically is one of the best aspects of the movie by far. It is so, you can tell it's like tediously put together and it's such a joy to watch. And I think while The Tale of the Princess Kaguya has those standout moments and it looks incredible, I think on a script level, Parasite just completely decimates it.
I agree.
I agree. Parasite's amazing.
All right, so we'll go 3-0 then, and we'll just
Yeah.
move on. Kaguya is an amazing movie, though, and I
Totally.
do want to give it its flowers. I loved watching it last night, but Parasite is it's Parasite.
It's Parasite.
There's a reason why it won Best Picture and was the first ever international film to do so. It was so good, where it broke in like an over 75-year stigma
Yeah.
that Hollywood had against international cinema.
More than that, even. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Joker
right.
and Midsommar. Another 2019 just bout.
Yeah.
A lot of 2019.
A lot of
bracket.
2019 was a really great year for
in
film.
my opinion, it is the best year of this decade.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah. We have
Yeah.
I'm like counting how many 2019 movies we have just left in this round of the bracket. It's still a lot.
Yeah. 2014 is also a really great year.
2014 is great too. Yeah.
Brendan, do you want to start?
I would go with Midsommar over Joker. I think Midsommar is an amazing movie where Joker is just a good movie.
Yeah.
And
I don't
would
even know
agree
if
with
I'd
that.
call Joker a good movie. I'd say it's a fine movie. I would
think
also
it's
agree.
I think it's on the good side of fine or the fine side of good, whatever you want to call it. But like, Midsommar is a 5-star movie to me. So
Yeah, agree. 5-star movie.
yeah. All right, this next one.
Arrival and Toy Story 3.
Yeah,
I think we're getting to a harder matchup.
yeah.
Should
I go
This
first?
is really tough. Sure, you look like you're really struggling. I can see it in your face.
I'm struggling, and I'm not struggling because I don't know what I'm gonna pick. I'm struggling because I know what I'm gonna pick, and it hurts. Because Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors ever, but I'm picking Toy Story 3 here. I think
Oh,
Arrival for me, I love it so much. It has not connected with me in a way that some of Villeneuve's other movies have. And Toy Story 3, since I watched it for the first time, which at this point is almost a decade and a half ago, geez, it remains just like one of the tentpole Pixar films, one of the definitive movies of my childhood. And I don't know. That's it. It just resonates with me so strong. And Arrival is incredible. But if we are talking about emotional resonance, it just does not hold the candle. So maybe that's a hot take. I feel like I'm about to be outvoted here, but we'll see.
I really want to go with your take. I really do, but sorry, I said Midsommar. I'm sorry. Arrival has just really resonated with me as a film. It was, I'd say that the style of like just Denis' style of just this hyper realism translated so well to this sci-fi setting after all of the dramas that he had previously made. And this was really the first Denis film, or I guess I'd say the earliest Denis film that's really connected with me. Like the way that I view Denis' filmography, there's a significant gap between his dramas and his sci-fi films, and that started with Arrival, and I think it's incredible. So, Brendan.
Brendan, don't let me down.
Yeah, this is really hard. I'm honestly not sure which one to choose. They're both kind of fantastic films. I think I'm going to have to go the slight edge to Arrival.
Oh,
let's go.
It's okay. It's Arrival. It's okay.
It's such a fantastic sci-fi film. So many great. Just because, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Arrival.
Yeah.
But still love Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is still really good.
I agree.
This pains me, but Arrival is so good. Like, it deserves to be here.
Yeah.
They all do. These are my babies.
They all deserve to be here. Portrait of a Lady on Fire at number 5 versus number 12, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Who wants to take this one first?
I don't
think
want
it's
to
really
go first.
tough.
My vote's for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for this one, just because I resonated with that film much more than Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
All right, well, Ethan, I'll let you be the tiebreaker here. Okay. Because I'm going with Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
All right.
I think that it clears to me in a lot of aspects. It's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a hangout movie and a vibes movie, but so is Portrait of a Lady on Fire in a really different, just more artistic and sensitive kind of a way. And I'd say that Tarantino has made other hangout films that are stronger than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I gotta give credit, though, while I'm here, to Brad Pitt helping me with my bisexual awakening a little bit. Yeah,
this was the
Once
one.
Upon a Time in Hollywood. One of them. One of them. Yeah, we have a couple of films on this bracket.
Good
where
stuff.
I'll have a similar comment. All right.
I'm the tiebreaker, I guess.
You are.
This is a very easy one for me.
Oh,
and
okay.
they're both vibes movies. They're both, to an extent, hangout movies. I have seen Portrait of a Lady on Fire 3 times. I have seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 3 times. I've spent more time in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood world because I read Tarantino's book that he wrote, like based off of the movie. Weird book. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say. It's just a weird book. No, but I enjoyed it. And there are so many things that I do love about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but there are so many things I can pick apart about it if I sat with it. Like, it's not a flawless movie, whereas I don't know if I can even nitpick Portrait of a Lady on Fire without, like, really, really trying hard.
Yeah.
And when I finished watching it, it left me with, I don't even know how to describe the feeling, but like, you know when you watch a movie and you're just like, damn, that was a movie. It's one of those. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, especially the ending, is great too. It did not give me that feeling the same way that Portrait did.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on that.
All right. Well, you know what movie did make me go like, damn, that's a movie?
Is it La La Land?
It is our number 2 seed, La La Land, which I think clears the 15 seed Hateful Eight.
I agree with you. I don't think we really need to talk about this one.
All right.
That's it. So, that was quick.
That was very quick. And then now we have 26 Fruitvale Station and 10 Florida Project.
Why don't you go first so I can think about what movie I'm picking here? Because I don't know.
Brendan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm personally going with Fruitvale Station for this one. I just think Fruitvale Station is just a phenomenal film that is just... I mean, I only watched it a week ago, but it's really stuck with me. And I've had to catch up on like 15 to 20 films from the 2010s, and like Fruitvale Station kind of stands out as one of the best films for me. I just think it's a fantastic drama that just kind of... I mean, they're both similar. Both Fruitvale Station and Florida Project are both really good at just kind of capturing people in their everyday lives, and they both have not unfortunate endings for the main characters. But I think Fruitvale Station does a lot of that trauma and was a lot more engaging for me than the Florida Project was. So my vote is for Florida Project. I mean,
That's
Fruitvale
fair.
Station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Logan?
All right. I'm gonna also go Fruitvale.
Okay.
This is a really hard decision for me, but Fruitvale is just heartbreaking because if you knew what you were getting yourself into before you watched the film, then you know where it's going, and it's just sort of this ticking clock, and it's so hard every minute because you know every minute gets closer, but you see that things are starting to go up for Michael B. Jordan's character, from what I remember, and then it crashes down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
things
And
start to really
it's
get
heartbreaking.
good for him during like maybe the end of the second third, but then
Yeah.
once they get on the train, it starts to kind of fall apart and get really tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ethan, are you going with Florida Project? I think you made a little
I'm gonna
face.
thank you for not giving me a choice because this is one of the closer ones because like I really love both of these, but I haven't seen either of them in years. And like I haven't rewatched them. I don't think about them that much, but I do
Yeah.
love both of them. And like Brendan said, I think is a really good observation. It's just people living everyday life and just what happens with that. I am going to pick the Florida Project if just to toss it a vote that will do nothing.
Yeah.
But this really was 50-50 for me. And I think on another day, if I were to go back and rewatch these, Fruitvale Station might be the pick just because I think the tragedy of that ending definitely gives it some more emotional heft. But I think like I'm a vibes movie person, and the Florida Project, I just vibed with it very hard. So that
That's
would
valid.
probably be what I picked, but it's very close.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on then to number 3, Django Unchained versus 14, Black Klansman. Who wants to go first?
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll talk about Django Unchained mostly because we didn't talk about it in the last
Yeah.
matchup because it was just such a shutout. I love it. I think it's one of Tarantino's best. The first watch, it was a little slow to me and didn't resonate with me as much as it has now on rewatch. My recent rewatch really just like reaffirmed how great it is. Leonardo DiCaprio's performance here, he is so menacing. And it's always interesting if an actor is able to do that when they're on someone's caliber as he is, of just like, you cannot watch him in any movie and not think the whole time that's Leonardo DiCaprio. But this performance is such a powerhouse that goes out the window, and you are terrified of him when he's at the table with them and is like yelling it's so tense. And I think Jamie Foxx is such a badass here. There's so many like one-liners and just like the way that he carries himself in this movie and the evolution of his character from the beginning to the end, you really see it. I think like the music choices are great. I think the cinematography is great. Production design is beautiful. Obviously, it's a Tarantino movie, so the screenplay really sticks out. Christoph Waltz again giving such a great supporting performance in one of these. And again, I love Black Klansman, and I do really want to rewatch it, having had you guys talk about it so much last round. But Django Unchained does just easily put itself forward between these two as the one that is better and more definitive of a movie for this decade. So that is my pick.
And that's a valid pick. All right. I would also, I think, go with Django, despite how much I love Black Klansman. It's Django. You know, I feel like there's not much more that you need to say to sort of quantify why it's deserving of being where it is. I think it's Tarantino's second best movie. And to me, that's not like the closest thing. I think it's really like a very close 1-2. but I think that those two films really separate themselves from the pack, in my opinion. It just really stood with me, or stuck with me, I should say, since the first time I watched it. Jamie Foxx is amazing, Christoph Waltz, Leo DiCaprio, even Samuel L. Jackson, just being
I always
Samuel L. Jackson's also really
he's such a
amazing.
presence in this. He's like, he's funny, but he's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Django.
I think I would I think I would give Django the slightest edge over Black Klansman just because of that supporting cast. Really excellent, along with Jamie Foxx as Django.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have a fun matchup.
Our last matchup of this round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last Jedi, 21 seed, and 22 seed, The Lego Movie.
This is the only one where it's two movies that should not have made it this far going against each other.
I would disagree.
Well, technically, I think they both
based on the
deserve
seat. I mean, I agree, but like based on the seating, I meant.
Oh,
yeah.
They absolutely both warrant being here. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with The Lego Movie.
You would.
Just gonna say that. I think The Lego Movie clears.
I also think The Lego Movie clears.
No!
Yes.
You can't do this to me.
Yeah, Last Jedi is still amazing,
Gosh
but
darn
it's
it!
not perfect. Whereas The Lego Movie, I think, is quite perfect.
Again, it's so tough arguing for The Last Jedi because it is so flawed. I have so many issues with it. I think the highs are higher than the highest highs of The Lego Movie. It's okay. It's a losing battle.
I would disagree.
You guys have clearly made a side deal outside of recording where you're like, we're going to get the Lego Movie to the final four if it kills us. I don't care how mad Ethan gets. We're going to make this happen. No.
But the bunk bed couch.
I don't care.
But the
It's a double-decker
Master
couch.
Builders.
I mean, how can
I
you
know
not
it's a
love that?
double-decker couch.
The
It's such a great joke.
Unikitty, Batman.
Look, The Last Jedi does not have the Craggle. I will give you that. Like, that is a point for the Lego Movie
Does the Lego?
wholeheartedly.
Sorry, does the Last Jedi have Taco Tuesday?
Does not have Taco Tuesday.
No, but like the Lego Movie doesn't have old man Luke milking the alien. Okay? It doesn't have
Do we
porgs.
want
Come on,
that?
it does not have porgs.
Do porgs being in there for like 2 seconds make it that much better than the Lego Movie?
You know what? Not everything has to work in a movie for it to be great, okay?
I mean, the Lego Movie does have Star Wars characters in it for a very brief scene, but
I'm just devastated because this is the second 5-star movie that you guys have just taken out in this round. You're killing my babies one by one.
I mean, hey, for a very divisive film, it's good that Last Jedi got into at least one round. So
You know what? I'm not going to fight you. That's a good point. It's a 27 seed. It's a miracle it made it this far.
Yeah, you said it was like the lowest.
It was the
lowest
low. It has a
ranked.
3.0 on Letterboxd.
Yeah, so
Abysmal. Yeah.
for the and that's saying something with movies like Godzilla and Detective Pikachu being on here.
You know what, Brendan? Thank you for getting it to round 2.
we got it to round 2.
Logan, I have nothing to say to you.
All right, Parasite and Midsommar.
All right. I'm not going first.
I'll go first and just say Parasite.
I will also
These
say
Parasite matchups are so boring.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's just it's Parasite. So is that a 3-0 for you, Ethan?
Yeah,
Or you?
yeah,
Yeah.
easily. Yeah,
I feel like
that
you
sucks.
need like an excellent movie to beat Parasite. You need.
When
like,
are we
something
going to
truly
actually
special.
talk about Parasite? I feel like we don't talk about a movie until it's like somewhat contentious.
We're not going to get to talk about. Well, now we're not going to get to talk about Parasite until episode 5
Damn.
because it's just so. Parasite is our first movie to make it to the Sweet 16
Yeah.
really easily. Hasn't had a single
Parasite has
contended
made it
vote.
out of this episode alive.
Yeah. So bravo, Parasite. It's the
Yeah.
first of 4. You know,
4
and now
seed.
I think we have difficult ones.
This is a close one. 4 seed Arrival versus 5 seed Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Let's
first.
go first. Okay.
I'll go first. It's Portrait of a Lady on Fire with a bullet for me. It's not even close. Like, again, I love Arrival, but it doesn't resonate with me on an emotional level the way that Portrait of a Lady on Fire does. It's kind of the same thing as when it went against Toy Story 3. I'm just making the same argument against Arrival despite loving it. It's like, it's great. It's muted. Like, it's just visually even. It's a gray movie, and I think I love it. It's beautiful. But like you said, Logan, before, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, every frame a painting. There's that one shot when she's in the green dress and it's like the ocean waves are like such rich blues and the sand is like bright orange. It looks like something out of Mad Max, but like in a completely different way. It's beautiful. I love it. I can't vote against it. I'm sorry.
Well, there we go then. I mean,
Brendan?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm voting for Arrival. I'm just not. I guess I just didn't emotionally resonate with Portrait of Fire on that big a level. That's it. It's not that it's bad. I think it's really great. I just resonated with Arrival more.
I'm happy to set up a rematch from Cannes 2019
Let's go!
between Portrait of a Lady on Fire and Arrival. I'm so happy to be doing that. I was really hoping for this matchup when I saw that they lined up in the bracket like this, that we would get to see them like face off, because I think that we're finally going to see Parasite get challenged here.
These were my two babies of 2019 that year.
Yeah. This is... I love Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I mean, I think Ethan said it with just the strong contrast between Arrival and Portrait. And yes, I think Arrival is an amazing movie, but not in the way that Portrait of a Lady on Fire is.
Arrival is a movie I feel cold to. Portrait of a Lady on Fire I feel warm to. They are both great. I like love them both. But in terms of what just makes me, again, I've said it already for this movie. I watched it and I was like, that's a movie. At Arrival, I watched it and was like, that was really great. I hope I like it more on rewatch. And I did. But still, it's not at that level. And I'm sorry, Brendan, that we keep putting a movie that you have voted against every time in the Sweet 16. It will lose fine. Eventually.
Maybe I have to rewatch it. I just wasn't a big fan when I first saw it, but it's still very good. I can see why it keeps getting. Like, it is a very good movie. It is very well done, from the romance to the writing and the pacing and just the look of it. Yeah.
Well, you'll have some time to rewatch it for episode 5.
If you choose to do that.
That's true. Yeah, we can rewatch some of these before they match up in the finals now.
Yeah, I think that's exciting. So, Portrait of a Lady on Fire and Parasite, that is a matchup we'll be getting in that final episode. Both of them survived this one. Let's see what the next matchup's going to be, starting off with La La Land or Fruitvale Station.
I feel so terrible because I love Fruitvale Station. It really resonated with me. Mm-hmm. It was not a fun watch, but like in the good way, where you watched it and you were like, damn. Wow.
Yeah. Haven't you voted against it every single time?
I have voted against it every single time, and I'm going to do it again. La La Land is one of my favorite movies ever. And I cannot, in good conscience, pick a movie that I've only watched once years ago instead of what I think is easily one of the defining movies of this decade. Damien Chazelle was just on fire. He made Whiplash, and then he made this. How do you do that? How do you make those two back to back? And we'll obviously talk about how great Whiplash is when we get there. But this is like the romance and the way it develops and the evolution and de-evolution of it. It feels so natural. I love both of these characters. Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling are both giving incredible performances. The music is iconic. It is so good. I love you, Justin Hurwitz. I love you so much. So many colors, and the production design is insane when it goes for like those fun little surrealist like dance sequences. It's so cool. That's my shit right there.
Cool. Yes, the tap dancing.
Oh my gosh, the planetarium,
just everything. The planetarium makes it a space movie.
It's kind of a space movie, I guess.
Oh my gosh, I love this movie so much.
Yeah. All right, Brandon, you want to take it?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with La La Land. I mean, I chose the music from that for our music league for the film scores round. Yeah, I love this movie so much. I think the music is fantastic. I think the performances are fantastic. It's just it's like, yeah, maybe my favorite musical ever, maybe my favorite like kind of romance film ever. I think it's fantastic and in just every way. Beautiful cinematography, extremely impressive cinematography. Just, yeah, like Ethan said, there's colors everywhere. There's so many colors. And Fruitvale Station is phenomenal. I do think it's phenomenal and definitely one of the best of 2010s, but is unfortunately no La La Land.
I'm also going to go with La La Land here. Brendan said it best in that last sentence there. Just Fruitvale Station is a great film, but it isn't La La Land. That is nothing against Fruitvale Station. It is incredible for what it's trying to do. What it just such a great directorial debut for Ryan Coogler. Oh my god! Like we haven't even mentioned that that is Ryan Coogler's directorial debut.
First movie,
and that's one of 3 of his movies that are on this bracket.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about Coogler more in other episodes, but what a movie to kick your career off with, and just what a heartbreaker. But La La Land is the musical of our lifetime at the moment.
Fruitvale Station is amazing, but Fruitvale Station does not have Emma Stone requesting I Ran by a Flock of Seagulls and Ryan Gosling being upset because he considers himself a serious musician. I'm sorry.
No. All right.
So, last matchup of the episode.
Here we go. Django Unchained, Lego Movie.
Logan, I swear to God.
I'm going with Lego Movie.
No!
I'm also going with Lego Movie.
No! This is a coup! This is a coup from the inside! You cannot be serious! It's Django Unchained!
And it's the Lego Movie.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's the Lego Movie.
You have picked this over Uncut Gems, The Last Jedi, and now Django Unchained. You have kicked out all these movies for a 22 seed.
I mean,
fun Lego, yay.
And I feel like all those last 3 movies are like 4.5-star movies, where I feel like Lego Movie is truly a 5-star movie.
God damn it!
Like, to me, I just think the Lego Movie tells a really moving story. It tells the story of just your everyman, and he grows into being so much more. And it's the kind of story that if you ever felt like an outcast in your life, it's the type of story that's really easy to relate to. It's the type of story that was kind of made for you and made in a really digestible way. What I think the Lego Movie has over every movie in this quarter of the bracket, aside from maybe Coco, is how watchable it is. That's the advantage that you get with these fantastic animated kids movies. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see other ones go really far, because they're just easier to watch. You can watch the Lego Movie just kind of like that and feel great. Well, I feel like something like Django, something like Uncut Gems, even The Last Jedi, it's just a lot more. And you don't always want you don't want a full course meal all the time. Sometimes you just want a snack.
But this isn't like even the greatest snack. This is like pretzels, you know? Like,
I think it's a fantastic
pretzels
snack.
Are great.
I think it's a fantastic snack. It's definitely not pretzels. This is like this is like chips with salsa at like
I'm just telling you,
this is a fantastic snack.
When my dad listens to this and has a seizure, it is on your conscience. This coup is the bane of my existence. Any movie that is unlucky enough to face off against the Lego Movie has no chance, because you have rigged this. You have rigged this game against me.
Don't say that, Ethan. We definitely haven't rigged it. The Lego Movie is just coincidentally better than all movies it's gone up against.
Coincidence? I think not!
That's a 2000s movie.
No, I respect you guys for like fighting for what is so clearly just a favorite for you guys. Like, it's genuinely... And to quote Calvin Candy in Django Unchained, in the first round, when the Lego Movie beat Uncut Gems, you had my curiosity. In the second round, when the Lego Movie beat The Last Jedi, You had my attention. Now you done goofed it, but let's not get into that.
You know what you sound like?
What do I sound like? I sound salty.
You sound like Bad Cop. To quote Bad Cop.
Oh no!
Darn, darn, darny darn.
I will accept that. I will resign myself to Bad Cop.
So let us just do a quick recap of all the matchups that you just had to witness here. So you had Parasite beat Godzilla, Tale of Princess Kaguya beat Thor Ragnarok, Joker beat Amazing Spider-Man, Midsommar beat Bohemian Rhapsody, Arrival beats Ready or Not, Toy Story 3 beats The Avengers, Portrait of a Lady on Fire beat Megamind, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood beat Rogue One, La La Land beat Jurassic World, The Hateful Eight beat Deadpool, Fruitvale Station beats Infinity War, The Florida Project beats Utopia, Django Unchained beats Crazy Rich Asians, BlacKkKlansman beats Us, Coco loses to The Last Jedi, The Lego Movie beats Uncut Gems.
Yeah,
next round, Parasite beats Princess Kaguya, Joker loses to Midsommar, Arrival beats Toy Story 3, Portrait of a Lady on Fire beats Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, La La Land clears The Hateful Eight, Fruitvale Station beats Florida Project, Django beats BlacKkKlansman, and then The Last Jedi loses brilliantly to the Lego Movie.
Yeah, apparently.
Next round and final round that we voted on today, Parasite clears Midsommar, Arrival loses to Portrait, La La Land clears Fruitvale, and then Django Unchained loses to the Lego Movie.
If Django from Django Unchained were to fight Emmett from the Lego Movie, who would win?
I mean, Emmett's a master builder. Is Django
honestly,
builder?
You're right. Yeah, I just picked the wrong fight.
But Django could possibly become a master builder. Like, he's not in the Lego universe.
True.
So maybe
like,
a Lego
would.
Django could become
he
a
would.
master builder.
Yeah,
he probably would. But if it's Lego Emmett versus human Django, like, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight, but instead it's a gun to a Lego fight. All right. So, do we have any closing thoughts before we close out on this quarter of the bracket?
I mean, I'm pretty content with a lot of these. Most of them. Yeah.
I'm content with all of them. I'm on the winning side of all four that made it to the Sweet 16.
Dang. So you're
I'll
the
take
only
it.
one who is.
Yeah.
We'll see about
I'm
next
content
week.
with pretty much all these decisions. It's unfortunate. I'm a little sad Avengers 1 and Coco didn't go as far as they would have, but they just kind of went up against better movies, or mostly better movies. But so I think I definitely need to rewatch Portrait of a Lady on Fire now.
The seating reflects the general Letterboxd public. It doesn't really reflect us at all, which can be difficult if we so strongly disagree with everybody else in the seating, just takes out one of our favorites early on.
Yeah.
But, you guys didn't let that happen to the Lego Movie. So
no,
applause.
We did not.
Brave souls.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Ethan.
The fact that you are willing to stand up here with those opinions is so commendable, and I love you for it.
Yeah. I feel like you're saying this like we're literally gonna get burnt by someone with a stake because we voted for the Lego Movie over.
There may have been a hint of passive aggressiveness in there. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Not me, except I do, and yes, there is.
I mean, I could see
I won't hold it against you.
I could see myself voting against the Lego Movie for other movies, but just we haven't gone to any of those movies yet.
Yeah.
The Lego Movie's gonna win the bracket. Mark my words. I don't want it to happen, but when there's a coalition as strong as you guys in here, who knows?
All right. Well,
I think
let's close out. That's it for this round. Tune in to the next round next Friday.
Please do.
On What the Film. It'll be a great
for
time.
more. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Take care, everybody.